Hello everyone, this is Colin on the ASCA League channel, and here we are for the Pennzoil Pro Series, race number 11 here at the Watkins Glen National Raceway. This 2.5 mile course is a perfect place to start off thinking about the championship chase, as Jay Durrell will start in the front row along with Michael Jones to his outside. Derek Petrie and last week's winner Kyle Collins were off in row 2, as well as some good starters like Gary Weaver and Zach Kamoski. Going down the row, Brian Boone, your current points leader, is starting off in 10th. A very good start by him, as well as a few big motorsports cars as they round out the final 8 rows. Ryan Dunn, Daniel Voiles, 17th and 18th, two low-tier teams who are having big results recently, and Stuart Gratton also a very solid qualifying position in 20th. We see Logan Sanders, Conrad Cooper on a little bit of a slope, as well as Ryan Kendall trying to get back into the groove. Aaron Lukes and Brian Lenning, two very surprising back-of-the-pack starters, as well as Arsh Hussain. And rounding out the field, Cesar Chavez and Brock McMahon, with notable Zach Rain and Garrett Sonor not making the race. The pace car is going to peel off a pit road, and the field of 42 is going to see the green flag as we race at Watkins Glen. And what an awesome jump by Michael Jones to get out in front of the pole sitter, as he will take the lead with Kyle Collins settling in second and Derek Petrie falling back to third. As Jones, though, looking very strong off the first corner, and he is continuing it down the long back stretch here, as Jones will send it through the bus stop and into the carousel. As you see Kyle Collins right behind, coming off of a win last week. It was his first of the season after 2 second place finishes. Finally got the win, and he's definitely looking to combat it with another solid run here today. Jay Durrell obviously looking for a win here. The past 2 road course races, it could say it slipped away from him. He was in contention in both of them, but he was just not able to seal the deal. This is his 3rd opportunity, and he'll get one more later in the season, but he'd like to get one before the chase starts to ensure to even further ensure his spot in the chase grid. He comes in 5th in points, but any points count at this stage in the game. And this driver here has plenty of them, almost a 4-race advantage over most of his other competitors out on the track. He has 198 points above the cut line. The most you can have at a time is 232 if you count up all the possible points earned in 4 races. So he is getting close to that point. And coming down to just 5 races left, he is pretty much secured in the chase. It would be amazing if he did not make the chase, but obviously he's looking to just further secure that position, and he'll be definitely one of the favorites to watch for. As well as Sam Rogers, 10th in points coming into this race, but he had a very solid run last week, Canadian Tire, and looking to back it up again with another solid run from Malley Motorsports. And here's Webster Zygarde. Did not have a good run last week. It was a top 20 run, though, so he did gain some valuable points. And this week, again, looking to have just a salvageable run. Hasn't been completely known for his road course expertise, but actually won this race last year. And it's kind of surprising he hasn't been too consistent on these road courses, but is definitely liking this one, as he had good practice times, just once again got shuffled back a little bit in qualifying. You see John Gilbert in the 61 car. Tinker Motorsports is a team that's been having a huge struggle this year. They had very good solid results with Brock McMahon, Ryan Kendall, and Brian Lenning last year. Oh, and a car is off into the pit lane. That looks like it is Eric Willis. We're going to have to check to see what happened here. He's going to get, looks like, turned by Conrad Cooper and sent into the pit wall. Luckily, no pit crew members were up on the wall at this point. And on lap 4, we'll see our first car out of the race, or Eric Willis is going to try to get back on the track, though, but that looks like it's going to be definitely a race-ending incident for him. But as we see, Michael Jones has not been able to pull the gap over his competitors. Kyle Collins is stuck right with him, but as well as the rest of the field as well. Currently no space between any of these drivers, maybe back from Zach Kamoski, but other than that, the front 6 are all tightly compacted together. And you see Derek Petrie, he's been on a pretty good climb recently. He was outside the top 28 at one point, just like his teammate Webster Zygarde, and now both of them run 7th and 9th in points. And Petrie now a full race above the cut line, so he is not too big of a hard spot right now, but he would like to continue to grow his points gap and secure himself in the chase. As you see, Nicholas Media, he's even better off. He's in 8th in points right now after a disappointing result. Finished 2nd place at Canadian Tire, which is obviously a very good run, but considering he would have won the race if Kyle Collins had not made it to the end on the fuel he had, and that could have been his first career win, but it was just not meant to be. As you see, he is running also a good follow-up race, maybe not up towards the front where we may have expected from Samudio, who had a really good road course race, but currently he is having a solid run nonetheless and continuing to build the points. And here's a guy, this could be a 2nd solid race in a row and a lot better than last week even. We were considering a top 15 a solid run. Well, a top 5 would be just such a great turnaround for this team. Zach Komaski has had a horrible start to the season and most likely will not make the chase for the 2nd year in a row. He did win our Armory Digital last year, but that did not combat. Oh, he got a wreck in the back and through the S's. Nikita Rizkov. It looks like Blaine Keys, Hergio Arvin Alonso, another car involved in late in the accident. And that was up through the uphill part of the portion of the track. And you see Nikita Rizkov with some pretty big damage. It looks like he'll be able to continue, though. And let's see how this happened. He's riding side by side with Kyle Singer. And the two are going to make contact. And Singer with severe damage into the Armco guardrail. And you see Hergio Arvin Alonso was almost through. Logan Sanders also with a piece. Jack Porkin's going to hit late, as well as Ruby Easton. And that's both of the Overdrive Motorsports cars. And Blaine Keys this season just cannot take a good... has not been able to take a positive turn after his win at Atlanta, and it is continuing to show here at Watkins Glen. However, that was not all, as we see Steinbach, he's having a similar incident to what Eric Willis did, but instead of hitting the pit wall, he's going to hit the tire barrier, and he is going to end his day there early on as well. But as we see, we had a battle for the lead here, or battle for 2nd place, excuse me, as Derek Petrie is going to go by on the outside of Kyle Collins. Maybe did not expect that and just had to get out of the gas, but that will put Kyle Collins back to 4th as he also loses a spot to Jay Durrell. Jay trying to come up through the field is hungry for that win, and he is going to try his hardest to get it. But he's going to have to negotiate pit stops here first, as Derek Petrie will stay out as well as Zach Komaski, but most of the rest of the field will come down pit road, starting with Michael Jones. And will pit stops play a factor? And at the moment, they have not played a huge role, but Kyle Collins was able to benefit as he'll get up to 2nd place once again after losing 2nd place. But Brian Boone, who is somewhere back outside the top 5, has now found himself in the 4th position. And the Widow X Dodge, he just somehow finds his way up into the mix every single week. And that car is just somehow always competitive no matter what track he goes to. And favorite is an understatement, as he could be the throw-in winner at this point. As we see Ryan Dunn, we talked about Ryan Dunn and Daniel Voiles as being teams overperforming in little small teams. Well, Ryan Dunn is a perfect example. He's only had one teammate who's qualified for every single race this season. That's Cesar Chavez, and he has had a dismal performance season this year. But he's been able to put something together out of it, and in that 51 car, he's 17th in points, 13 above the Kun line, granted, but having a solid day here today and just might be able to improve on that just a little bit. So Ryan Dunn giving Double T Motorsports a good result here today. Not sure about their future, but we'll have to see where that comes from as we see. Oh, and there's a spinner right into the tire wall, but it looks like he'll keep it straight. That was Cesar Chavez. We were just about to mention him. He was running side by side with Allison Rhodes, who's also on a team that is looking to turn things around with her 2nd car. But Cesar Chavez, he's just been able to find ways to be at the back of the field every single week. He's definitely needing a turnaround for him. And same thing with Allison Rhodes. Had an okay result at Canadian Tire, but just is now coming back to another road course, which he considers her specialty, and is not performing at all. So Allison Rhodes trying to at least put something together. The chase is definitely a far-fetched option for her as she's missed a few races this season. But for a driver that won a race last season with Davidson Motorsports, or Red Viper Racing actually, for a driver that won a race that season, she at least wants to try to put something to mark up next to that. Looking at the front of the field though, again, Michael Jones has checked out just a little bit, but Derek Petrie's all over the back bumper of Kyle Collins again, maybe pushing the 83 through the bus stop. And he is definitely impatient as he made the pass fair and square on Kyle Collins in the turn 10. But the problem is that pit stops, he was not able to get out in front of Kyle Collins. And he was going to try the move there again, but Kyle Collins will stay in front. Gary Weaver's having a solid run. We mentioned that he qualified well. And Gary Weaver has not been in a car since 2015. So seeing him come back 2 years later and do so well, at the moment, Gary Weaver is the leading driver at Knight Hoffman Racing, as that is impressive. That is impressing me more than anything. And giving Hawk Performance a good ride, giving the entire team a good ride, as they will probably make the chase at this rate, as he's been just flying under the radar. Normally, that's kind of what he's known for. He's never been made a huge splash in the water. Still is actually winless in the series, but has been able to put together some very good runs and make it through to the chase. And more cars going into the wall. Cesar Chavez involved once again, and Logan Sanders this time was the one who hooked him. And that will put both cars in the wall, but they will. It looks like both of them will be able to continue. And coming down into the final stages of the race, Michael Jones has had an unbeatable pace this race, as he has been able to just go through the entire thing without an issue. And Kyle Collins right behind him in second place. He's just been holding up the cars behind him, it appears. Derek Petrie is having a much harder time this time, making it around the 83 car. And as you see, the 43 cars managed to get by the 70 into the fourth position. Petrie looking at a very late move down into the bus stop, not going to make the pass. But Jay Durrell is going to capitalize, trying to go on the outside and through the carousel. But Petrie fighting back in the red stripe Chevrolet, is Jay Durrell going to just continue to keep up the charge. They're still double wide and going down into the hard braking zone. And Durrell trying to make the pass work, but Petrie outbrakes him. And he will have the advantage in this corner, and I believe he will be able to take the position back. And great driving here in the later stages, as Durrell trying to just get back up into a competitive position, maybe to go run down Michael Jones. But at the moment, it's just proving too hard to pass people. And on pit road, a few cars in pit road. That's Sam Rogers, Cody Russell. Something has happened in the back of the field. We're going to watch and see. That's Logan Sanders in the middle of the track, and Sam Rogers was not expecting him to be there, and he is going to get contact. But that's not where it ends. Cody Russell and Nicholas Samudi are going to have contact going down the stretch. And Jesse Dalton maybe not knowing where the 77 was going, and he's going to run into the 77 car. And another car hits. That's Sam Rogers. That's the second time he's going to be involved in an accident. And Aaron Lukes as well, another car getting involved. That looks like Ryan Kendall, maybe William Brock as well, Jose Vaquez. And a multi-car pileup through turn 10, as you see Cody Russell, Gary Weaver going to get involved here. We were talking about how he was having a good day. Strong results also going from Jesse Dalton. And you see, oh man, you know, the lap car of Logan Sanders was just getting in the way. I think a few of these drivers were trying to go around him and just completely missed Cody Russell sitting in the middle of the track. And you see Aaron Lukes just came flying in there. Same thing with Ryan Kendall trying to turn the wheel. And it looks like, I think Arsha Singh got slowed down enough. There was another car that got some damage in front of William Brock. Otherwise, though, at least 5-10 cars involved in this one. And that is going to definitely take out a few drivers who are having very good runs, like Sam Rogers, Gary Weaver, and Cody Russell. But now with 2 laps to go, Michael Jones has experienced some lap traffic, this time in the form of Virgil Arvin Alonso, involved in an accident earlier in the day through the S's. And he is going to he's going to need to get past him, because Virgil is holding him up right now. And at the moment, this would be a good place to pass. And he's maybe trying to look down low at this point. He wants to get the advantage going through this corner. Oh, but he is going to run. He's going to make a mistake, and he hit the rumble strips. And this is going to bring the field closer. And Kyle Collins is getting a lot closer. He closed the gap at least by half. And now this is their opportunity. This is their chance to go after Michael Jones. Final lap is in the air. And Jones, he actually is going to clear Hergil down the front stretch. That will be definitely an advantage out of the 47 team. as now Kyle Collins will have to find his way by. And Hergil is just going to throw the block with just a little bit, not give him enough room. And Hergil is just being not a courteous backmarker at all. And luckily for Michael Jones, Hergil did hold him up, but he's doing the exact same thing for the cars behind him. Look at them, 4 wide down the backstretch for a minute. Jay Durrell will back out of it. Good choice indeed, as that could have been messy. And Kyle Collins will get by. Derek Petrie looking on the inside. Brian Boone trying to get into a podium position. But Jay Durrell on the inside of him, as Hergil's going to go to the outside. He's going to hold up Brian Boone. But Michael Jones has checked out in that 47 car. And it looks like it's smooth sailing unless anything catastrophic happens in these last 2 corners. But I don't think that'll happen. And I don't think Michael Jones is going to bet on it either. Checkered flag in the air. Michael Jones is going to see the win. And that's the 2nd win of this season. And he is going to continue a dominant part of his career with a win here at Watkins Glen. And congratulations to Michael Jones and Bad Dad Racing, who continue to put wins on the board. And they have just proven that they are one of the biggest teams out here on the track each week. And they are definitely the threats to win the championship once again. And he'll celebrate with victory burnouts as the 47 car will go to victory lane. Jones with his 2nd win of the season. Kyle Collins with his 3rd second place finish of the season. And Derek Petrie also with a good run for him. Brian Boone, your points leader, will finish 6th. Zach Komonski, a top 5 run is exactly what that team needed. But how about his teammate Stuart Gratton finishing 11th? Awesome results out of him, as well as Daniel Voiles and Matthew Brown also inside the top 15. But as we see down the board, a few drivers like August Dieber or Chloe Baker, they did not have the best of races today, but out of the last few laps of chaos, they were able to make up some few spots after the result of others losing a lot of track position, like Sam Rogers, who was in top 5 a lot of the day, Cody Russell as well, and Gary Weaver, who is on his way to improving his points position a lot. But as we look at our point standings, Brian Boone now in the 200s above the cut line, and I'm pretty sure that that is going to be an automatic confirmed if he has one more good race. Kyle Collins in 2nd still, and Kyle Singer, another driver in the hundreds. 5 drivers, 6 actually, 100 above the cut line. And there's still a lot more time though. As you see, the cut line is pretty close. 7, 5, 3 points above the cut line for the first 3. And the cars behind are looking to try to find their way in. A bunch of really competitive guys back there. But we'll have to see how the next races unfold. We'll see you all next time at Pocono, where we continue our race to the chase.